Hello and welcome back to episode number 14 of Going Life's Longevity Weekly with me, Chris Kerwin. This is a show where I bring you all the news and updates from the world of health, wellness and longevity. And today we're going to be talking about age-related hair loss, my chat with Dr. Milan Mušo about RNA, and can dietary restriction combat skin aging? So without further ado, please sit back and enjoy. Now firstly, one of the major cosmetic concerns when we're growing older is the loss of hair, especially if you're male. This usually first appears as a gradual thinning of the hair. In men, this usually begins on the forehead, causing the hairline to recede. In women, it usually first appears as a broadening of the central parting. But why does this actually happen? To answer this question, we have to understand the growth cycle of hair. Starting off in the anagen phase, nourishment of the hair follicle by the blood supply promotes hair growth. A second is a catagen or transition phase, where the hair follicle detaches from the blood supply. And finally, the telogen phase, which is where the hair falls out due to there being no nourishment. Now, age-related hair loss happens because the anagen phase, the growth phase, becomes shorter, while the telogen phase lengthens. This means that fewer hairs are growing at any given time. Hair follicles also shrink, resulting in thinner hair, and eventually die, preventing any new hair from being grown at all. We still don't know exactly why these changes occur, but hormones called androgens, male sex hormones, seem to play a central role for both males and females. 95% of hair loss in males is caused by androgenic alopecia, the result of an androgen called dihydrotestosterone, or DHT. DHT stimulates the growth of body hair, but for unknown reasons has the opposite effect in hair follicles on the scalp, causing them to degrade. The sensitivity of hair follicles to DHT is genetic and tends to increase with age, making body hair grow longer while scalp hair is reduced. Although produced in much smaller quantities than in males, females still need some testosterone and DHT. However, the relationship between androgens and female hair loss is less straightforward and may have more to do with the decline in female sex hormones following menopause. For example, it has been suggested that hair loss in females may be partly caused by a loss of aromatase, an enzyme produced by hair follicles that can convert androgens to estrogens, which lengthen the growing phase. This is also why women sometimes lose hair at a higher rate following pregnancy, as estrogen elongates the anagen phase during the pregnancy period, resulting in a large number of hairs entering the telogen phase at once when estrogen returns to normal. And secondly was my talk with Dr. Milan Mušo. Milan is currently a postdoctoral research associate in human metabolic disease and aging at the Institute of Metabolic Science in Cambridge. He is a brilliant scientist and a very good friend of the show, and we had a really interesting chat about RNA and its role in aging. So here's a short clip. For those who are listening who maybe don't have a huge background in biology, can you just explain what RNA is?
Sure. RNA, actually very much similar to DNA, is a nucleic acid. It's a large molecule, and essentially what it is, a messenger. It's a messenger that basically delivers the message from DNA to protein and allows our body to function. But apart just from being a messenger, and that's also what my chapter is about, is it also has many enzymatic functions. It can allow itself, it can have a role. And in fact, there are theories that RNA has been the original storage of information. This is even where life once might have originated.
So thanks again to Milan for a really interesting talk. I haven't uploaded the full video yet, but I will do shortly. So you'll be able to find that on the Going Life website or the YouTube page. Be sure to keep an eye out for that. Now, one of the most immediately noticeable aspects of human aging is the formation of wrinkles and the degradation of the skin. However, skin aging is not merely just cosmetic. Aged skin is more fragile, takes longer to heal, and is more susceptible to a range of skin diseases. Now, can dietary restriction, one of the most proven longevity interventions, actually reduce the aging of the skin? Firstly, what is dietary restriction? Dietary restriction is a reduction of a specific nutrient or overall nutrient intake without causing malnutrition, and has been shown to slow aging in various animal models. But how does this impact the skin? Well, one study reported that long-term 60% calorie restriction lowered the rate of skin protein glycation. This is a cellular process in which glucose molecules can react with proteins or lipids to form advanced glycation end products, or AGEs for short. These can then react with structural proteins in the skin to link them together, resulting in a reduction in elasticity. Now, glycation is considered to be one of the primary drivers in skin aging, and the fact that calorie or dietary restriction opposes this process is therefore a very good indication that dietary restriction has the potential to slow skin aging. Now, it has also been shown to promote the activity of macrophages, so-called janitors of the immune system, that are responsible for clearing up debris from the sites of injury. Now, studies suggest that this increase in macrophage activity may play a key role in promoting skin healing in rodents subjected to dietary restriction. Evidence suggests that this restriction of calories may inhibit the progression of various skin diseases, including psoriasis, acne, and certain skin cancers. In cultured melanoma cells, for example, nutrient deprivation was found to improve the effectiveness of chemotherapy. However, not all studies are in agreement, with some research suggesting that calorie restriction actually slows healing. Now, unfortunately, the effects of this process on the skin and on health more generally are less well studied in humans. We understand the processes behind skin aging relatively well, and evidence from animal models suggests that dietary restriction should slow these processes. However, extensive research is required before we can say with confidence that dietary restriction affects human skin aging. And that's it for this week's Longevity Weekly, so I really hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for listening, and if you want to find out any more information about anything that we talked about today, then you can find the link in the description below. Also, go and check out some of the articles we wrote this week, including our favourite books and podcasts about science and health, how suppressing chronic inflammation might be the key to long life, and the relationship between our microbiome and cancer. So go and check them out. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and have a great week. Thank you so much.